Okay, so how do you add or subtract decimals? I'm going to try and see if we can use this method to see if this method will help. So I've kind of broken it down into 3 different steps. So the first step is going to be step 1, determine if the signs of both numbers are the same or different. And so you'll kind of notice here that where I've got, is it the same? I'm kind of converting the addition or subtraction of decimals into just a pure addition. Okay. And over here on the right, when I say that they're different, again, notice that we're only adding here. So let me kind of explain what I mean. I'll kind of go through an example. So here in example A, we've got negative 23.5 minus 41.38. Now, given the properties that we described earlier, we can actually rewrite this to look like negative 23.5 plus a negative 41.38. So you'll notice here that both decimals that we have are both negative and being added together. So that's what I mean about both numbers having the same sign. Either they're both positive or they're both negative when they're being added together. So here you can see that both decimals are negative when being added together. So when they're both negative and they're being added together, then you position the absolute value of each number vertically aligned with their decimal points. Insert zeros where needed. So we'll look at these 2 decimals and put the largest on top just to create a good habit. So we've got 41.38, and then we've got 23.5. And you'll notice that we've got kind of a gap here for a place. This is where we're going to insert a 0 where needed. So we're going to put a 0 there to kind of hold that placeholder. And now we go ahead and add those 2 numbers. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 8. Carry down our decimal point. 1 plus 3 is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. And then step 3 is to apply the sign of the original numbers to the sum. So this is our sum, and the original sign of our numbers was negative. So that's our answer. So negative 23.5 minus 41.38 is equal to negative 64.88. All right, let's look at the next example. So with this next example, we've got 14.65. So 14.65 is actually a positive number. And we've got minus 20. So a way we can think of minus 20 is adding a negative 20. Now this is an example where the 2 decimals that you're adding together have different signs. Okay. So up here where they have different signs, you're going to subtract the absolute value of each number and vertically align the decimal points and insert zeros where needed. All right, so we want to make sure that we put the largest number on top. And so between 20 and 14.65, 20 is on top. And that's going to be 20 point. And then we've got 14.65. And so we need a couple of zeros here for placeholders. And when the signs are different like this, we want to subtract these. All right, so I can't stress enough. You have to make sure that the largest number of the two is on top. We did the same thing here. Okay, when you're adding, it's not as important, but when you're subtracting, it's vitally important that the largest number is on top. All right, so we want to do 0 on the right-hand side. We want to do 0 minus 5, okay, but how do we subtract 5 from 0? Well, we have to borrow. So when we look at the other places above this 0, we can't borrow from this place, can't borrow from this place, but we can borrow a 1 from this place. So we can take this 2 down to a 1, and that'll make the next value of the next digit 10. We can't leave it as 10. We can reduce this down to 9 and take that 1 and bring it down and make it 10 in this place. But we're trying to shift our numbers all the way down. So we'll reduce this by 1 to make that place a 9. That's too smudged. Okay, so it's a 10, made it a 9, and then take that 1 that we just subtracted and bring it over here as 10. So now we can do 10 minus 5, which is 5, 9 minus 6, which is 3, 9 minus 4, which is 5, and 1 minus 1, which is 0. Okay, so that is step 2. And step 3 is to apply the sign of the larger number of the difference. So the larger of these two numbers was negative 20. So we're going to take this negative and put it down here. So 14.65 minus 20 is equal to negative 5.35. Okay, so for these next two examples, try and perform the addition or subtraction of these decimal numbers yourself. I'll give you the answer so you can see if you're right. The first one should come out to negative 16.49. And this other one should be negative 0.42. Give that a try.